Hey guys, it's Bradley with the Insurance Guys podcast. You know, over the past year that we've been recording this podcast, Scott and I have met some amazing individuals and received some amazing advice. So we decided to do something for our audience that may or may not be able to listen to every single episode. We put together a white paper / ebook of the top 7 things that you must do in your agency in 2018 and 2019. We're giving this to you guys free as of right now. You can text the word book, BOOK, to 251-418-4724. Follow the prompts and you will promptly receive that book. Or you can email me at bradley@saralandinsurance.com. That's not going to be automated like the text, but you can receive it that way as well.
Insurance agents from around the world, welcome to the Insurance Guys podcast, hosted by yours truly, Scott Howell, and the incomparable Bradley Flowers. For agents, by agents, we're here to share real-life experiences, tips, and insights related to all aspects of both being an insurance agent and running a successful agency. So sit back, turn up the volume, and let's get down to business. Insurance agents from around the world, welcome to the Insurance Guys podcast. I am your fearless host and leader, Mr. Scott Howell, with I Protect Insurance and Financial Services based in Huntsville, Alabama. Before we get started on today's podcast, please help me welcome. He is a 6'3" sophomore from Saraland, Alabama, first-team All-American, Rivals 5-star recruit. He is single-handedly bringing the kindness revolution to the Mobile metropolitan area. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the great American, the incomparable Mr. Bradley Flowers. How are you, Bradley?
I'm great, Scott. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Guys, it is 8,754 degrees in Mobile, Alabama today with 2,022% humidity. If you are a female headed to Mobile, Alabama today, do not worry about doing your hair. There is no need. It will be flat when you get here, I promise. It feels like I am on the surface of the sun when I walk outside today.
We're on the same wavelength because I thought the same thing too when I walked outside.
Wow. Guys, we've got a fantastic podcast for you today. I'm looking forward to having these guys on. Before we get started, our mission on this podcast is to help you insurance agents in any way we can. Sales, marketing, hiring, firing, accounting, agency ownership, programs, digital, apps, hint, hint. We're going to talk a little bit about apps today. But before we get started, let me introduce our guest today. We've actually got co-founders of the insuranceagentapp.com, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. The first is an entrepreneur and developer of mobile web-based utility app for insurance agents called Insurance Agent App. And he graduated from Brown University and the University of Virginia, currently resides in Charlotte with his beautiful wife and 2 sons, Mr. Matt Aaron. And then before I go forward, I want to also introduce his co-founder and COO. She's got a background in sales for companies like Apple, Pearson Education, Scientific Learning. She has an expertise in digital marketing and educational learning. She resides in Charlotte and is married with 2 sons. Guys, before we go any further, I want to introduce the 2 of them. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome both of the incomparable Mr. Matt Aaron and Miss Kiki Johnson. How are you guys?
Great. Thanks so much for that terrific introduction. Wow.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Guys, I am so excited to have the 2 of you on. I've heard about your app. I have listened to independent agents especially jump up and down and talk about the need for a mobile app for their policyholders, for the people that they do business with, their clients. And I think the 2 of you have kind of cracked the code on that. Tell us before we get started, the gyration. I want you to go back in your DeLorean time machine for us and talk to us a little bit about how you got into the insurance business and bring us up to today just a little bit, guys. And either one of you can get started. Doesn't matter.
Fair enough. Bradley, thank you. And Scott, thank you very much. And I love the visual of how you guys have Alabama covered from top to bottom, from Huntsville to Mobile, because I used to call on that state and I know it very well. So not only do you have Alabama covered off, but obviously you've got the U.S. and soon to be the world, I'm convinced. Once you guys pick up Mandarin, no problem, right? You got this. You got it going. So thanks for having us. Really appreciate it. The quick version of how we got to where we are today is that I'll let Kiki give you her background. Mine was with major media companies for the bulk of my career, and then I got started in mobile app development back in 2008, taking some family-owned intellectual property, and we launched those into apps and game apps. And if you know this story about Angry Birds, it took the Angry Birds, it was the company Rovio's 50th attempt at bringing out a mobile app.
Wow.
And, we looked at that and just said, it's fun to be bringing these television shows back out to the game platform. It's not really what we wanted to do. And then during that time, I was out jogging on a sidewalk here in Charlotte on a 4-lane road when a minivan got sideways about a foot from me and my 10-year-old son. If it had jumped the curb, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation today.
Wow.
Fortunately for us, went up and hit an oak tree, caused a good-sized accident that we helped clean up. But in the process of cleaning up that accident, I asked myself the question, what would you have to do if you were in that accident? Well, you have to contact your agent. And that's when I realized I had no clue who my agent was. In fact, I had the wrong name for the fellow. So, long story short, as I went and visited him and found out, didn't know anything about the world that independent agents live in, didn't know anything about directs and exclusives, captives, and we certainly do now. But what we learned and really stayed true to was the need that independent agents have to be present for their clients in a meaningful way on the mobile platform. So we developed a mobile application that keeps the agency at the center point of communication, not an insurance company. And, there's a reason for that, and that is that, we're entrepreneurs, we're small business people, but we understand the challenges that agencies are facing. So just as Geico or Progressive, State Farm, any one of them would put out a good mobile application so that their clients can engage with them the way we all engage with other service providers that we do business with. We have built an enterprise-level mobile application that agencies can distribute to their clients, keeping them at the center point of communication.
Yeah, I that was going to be one of my first questions that I had written down here. And by the way, I've spent quite a bit of time on your website. Guys, if you want to find out more about their agency-branded app that they have for independents, the website, if I'm not mistaken, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's www.insuranceagentapp with 2 P's, APP.com. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And so, Kiki, you've got all these independent agents out there, thousands of independent agencies. Every single one of them, it seems like, well, maybe not every one of them, but you can go into 2 different agencies. Both agencies are running a different CRM system. I know that you guys integrate with QQ Catalyst. I know that. But so how does that play into this? If I'm an independent agent and let's say I'm running, and I'm just going to throw one of the CRM systems out there, HawkSoft, okay? How does that integrate with your mobile app, or how does that work? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, we do have integrations that we're working on, and we are integrated with QQ, and we're actually integrating with HawkSoft, and we're rolling that out shortly. In the cases where we're integrated, and we have 3 or 4 more on the board that we're working with, the policy data will flow right through to the app. So policyholders will actually have their policy data available at their fingertips, as well as their auto ID cards, which is terrific and really important. But I want to step back and broaden the picture to help agencies understand really how things have pivoted and what's happening with technology and how InsurTech has impacted the whole arena and the challenges that you guys are facing, because the market has been, your clients have been conditioned by what's going around all around you and by other companies. And that's really where the transition is happening in terms of what your client's expectations are. There's a new expectation for digital convenience. And the struggle that independent agents have is, because they're independent, it's really hard for them to deliver true digital convenience for their customers because everything is so fragmented. So when we came in and took a look at the whole channel, we said there's got to be a better way because no one's really got your back. The carriers are doing their things that service their direct clients, which don't necessarily cover all of the clients that an independent agent may handle. And an agency management system is really focused on the back end and helping the agency be productive. And then you've got your digital strategies that everybody's working on to try and automate and get faster and deliver a better customer experience. But how do you package that all up and make something that works really well for the agency and also is really effective and efficient for the customer?
I love it.
And it really, the whole talk is about the customer experience, and I love what agencies are doing, and I love that all of the push with new technology and everything is getting agencies to realize they have to step up their game. They've got to, add technology to their agency because they cannot keep doing it the way they're doing it and just pile on more technology, but still be doing it the old way too. They've got to push some things off to a more self-service model. And which is great, but what's happening right now is agencies are improving their procedures inside the agency, and they're starting to add that technology, but they're just pushing it out there, and they're pushing more out to the clients. But the clients on the other end, that they don't have a catcher's mitt. So you're sending them now more information, but they have no place to store that information.
Right. So help me out though. Back to my original question. Because we just said a lot right there, right? We said a lot of stuff, but I'm one of those people. I'm not very smart. I have the brain of a small squirrel, so people have to condense things down into very concise data for me.
And for the record, all the listeners just rolled their eyes before he said that and said, "Brain of a squirrel, we know, Scott."
Yes, exactly. So if I have a CRM system and I'm an independent agency, how does the app, does it integrate with the CRM system, or is it just kind of a bolt-on? I mean, there's got to be some integration there to allow policyholders to be able to print ID cards and do other things. How does that work exactly?
Okay, well, when you say a CRM versus an agency management system, are you talking about a CRM like a marketing program, or are you talking about an agency management system that handles your downloads?
I apologize. I should have said agency management system. My apologies. Go ahead.
Nope. And it works in different ways. Where we're able to integrate with the agency, the data is pushed out from the agency, and then we download it into the app. And so if you're a policyholder, if you're of an agency that works with QQ, then you would be able to have your policies displaying inside the app, and your top-level information. It's going to have your policy number, who the carrier is, what the effective and expiration dates are, the top-level coverages and everything. It's not going to have the entire everything, all the nuances and the legalese, but it's going to be what I need as a policyholder. If I'm out and I need to have some information, or I want to check on something and make sure it's there, and it's 11 o'clock at night, or I want to add something, I can see what's there already.
I love it.
And that'll be the same thing with some of the CRMs or agency management systems that we work with that have only a client portal access. We integrate and link right to that client portal. So it's not as immediate as when we're integrated, which is the number one choice. That's the convenience that clients are looking for, but it does get them where they need to go.
So do you have a sweet spot in terms of agency size that you guys feel like, really works well with your app? Or I noticed that, and I love your pricing model. In fact, you said something on your website that I completely agree with. You said, agency size, because you're pricing this on a per head basis, you can get pretty close to what somebody's agency size is based on their number of employees. And I love the way that you guys price that. But is there a sweet spot for you guys, or is it just all over the board from agencies with 2 employees to 100 employees?
I think it really depends on the agency and what they want to do. I mean, we've got agencies that have got lots of employees, but they really just aren't getting how to transition to the digital model. So they're adding more self-service components to make those in person, high touch connections of higher value, and we've got 2-person agencies that are all over it and are really efficient and effective. So when they're talking with somebody, it's a high level conversation because they're letting everything else get done in a more efficient manner.
I love it. Yeah.
I think that tends to roll out to agencies that have probably a few more employees where they can divvy out. But, there's some great agencies out there that are doing amazing things with a small number of people because they've just stacked their technology really efficiently and effectively.
Well, that's
and
awesome.
They tell their customers and their employees how they want it to work and what the procedures are that need to be followed for it to all work.
Right. So I noticed on, just kind of going through this on your website, you guys have a personalized auto email invite functionality. Tell us a little bit about that, Matt.
Well, we recognize that most agencies don't have the bandwidth to immediately put together an email campaign, right? So we help them get downloads and installs of the application by generating an email to the client that looks like it's coming from the agency, it introduces the insurance agent app, some of its features and benefits. There's a link in there to a 90-second video as to why it would be a good idea to install the application, what's in it for the client, and then how to do so by going to the App Store or Play Store and then registering the first time the application is used. And we can turn that off if an agency has their own, marketing department and they're all set up to deliver something like that. But being able to send out, if I'm a CSR and someone calls up and says, would you please send me my ID card again for the 10th time this year? And you say to them, I'd be happy to do that. May I also invite you to install our mobile app because you'll be able to have the ID card stored in there electronically. And may I invite you to do that? All I have to do is click a button, and that invite goes right out to that client. Or you can send it in bulk to all clients who have not yet installed the application. So, that can be sent out as frequently or as infrequently an agency wants to send it.
Is there any text functionality with the app as well, or is it just
push notification?
Push notification?
Yeah, and I'll distinguish between the two. A push notification is generated from the agency's web dashboard that administers the mobile app, and it comes into a client's mobile device like a text message, only technically it's coming through the app. There's an opt-in for that when they sign in, and it's a great way. There's obviously weather-related events.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's, and believe me, we have agency clients who use it in North Carolina. I was on the phone a lot last week with clients in the eastern part of the state who were sending out notifications to their clients saying, we know this is going to be bad. We're here for you. Use the app. And I haven't heard from Danny Cook in particular, who's in Lumberton. Hope he's okay.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
A good friend of mine has a house in Lumberton, actually.
Well,
and they are underwater. So, our thoughts certainly go out to them in the eastern part of the state, everybody.
So this is one of those topics that I've heard independent agents talk a lot about. I've heard them talk to carriers that they have that they use quite a bit about, we need a mobile app. Do you guys have any real competition at this point in time in terms of competitors in the market, or are you guys kind of the only game in town?
I think there are, and there aren't really any competitors doing the level of what we're doing to the depth of what we're doing. And I think the difference is understanding what a mobile app is and what it can do for you. Carriers have their apps, but why would you want to push somebody away to a carrier app that really only delivers information about the carrier and policy data and doesn't do anything to bring them back to you and keep you at the center point? And a contact app where it really is just providing contact information really doesn't provide the digital convenience that we're talking about, nor does it expand the agent's role as a true advisor. And this is one of the approaches we took and we stayed true to when we started and built the app is what can we do? What do I want as a policyholder? If you tell me I should be doing a home inventory, but then you send me someplace else, you've lost somewhat of your value as my trusted advisor because you're not really helping me get that done. So inside the app, we've built a fully functional property inventory app within the app. So somebody can do that, and it's a great transition for for an upsell, cross-sell, or if you are trying to get somebody to say, hey, if you've got a collector's, take a picture of that. We're doing a review next week. Make sure you let us know of all the things that you've got going on that we may not be aware of or that you're not sure that are covered. And then, example of the hurricanes that just came through. You need to prepare beforehand. We also have a fully built-out accident claims kit. So the number one thing that they may call you for is, or expect you to be there for them, is in an accident or a claim situation, and yet you haven't been able as independent agents because you don't have the time, resources, or money to build that out. You're giving them a tool to be right there standing with them and telling them exactly what to do, essentially, in that moment.
Now, is this home inventory, is it stored in a cloud? Is it stored on the app itself? Is it sent to the agent to store on their end? The reason I ask is I've actually tried that on my personal website for my business before, and the issue that I've always come across is storage.
Right. We store everything in the cloud. And that's really important for a couple of reasons. One, if somebody loses their phone or their phone gets damaged or stolen or any number of things, they still have access to all of their information. It also allows us you can keep adding to it as opposed to just here's a picture and they send it in an email, and then they send you another email of another piece, and it's very hard to collate all that information. Mm-hmm. So it's constantly being built in a report that's stored in the cloud. They can share it with the agency. So when you're doing a review or you're looking at something, you're both looking at the exact same information. It can be sent on to a carrier if it's an accident claims kit, for example. So everybody has the same information at the same time when it's shared.
And I take it that the mobile app that you guys have that will be branded on a per agency basis, I guess the depth and the breadth of what an agency can use it for and how they use it is probably directly correlated to how much time the agency is willing to spend kind of deep diving and learning and understanding it. Is that correct?
Yeah, there is a correlation there for sure. I think that the agencies that have people that are assigned to other duties other than just selling, that they're going to get more use out of the application. There's a curve there, but administratively, this is a very easy lift for an agency, very low maintenance. So nothing is set and forget, but this is a very lightweight administrative lift, as I said. Two things regarding what the app is used for and how the app is used. Because I was on a phone today with a guy from Los Angeles who really wanted the app to be used as a prospecting tool. Mm-hmm. And I explained to him flat out, I said, look, this is more of a retention tool.
Right.
We all know that it costs a lot less money to retain somebody than it does to acquire them. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't you put the effort into retaining the ones that you have? And that's why we built so much functionality into the application, so that there are reasons for you to engage with your clients via the app and vice versa. So, and then, for prospects, your website really is the gateway. If people are doing searching either in a geographic area or for a particular type of insurance, mm-hmm. Your website is critical for prospects, mm-hmm. and that's how they're going to find you. So, we tend to try to simplify it for agencies. Your website is for prospects, and your mobile application is for your clients. And that said, there shouldn't be some functionality on your website that we can't utilize. Like if there is a change request and you've got a workflow, there are some agencies I know that are on the Hawksoft platform that have their quote component tied right into the Hawksoft management system and into the rater. That's great. It's seamless. It's beautiful, and that's the way it should be. So, and we can do that through the application as well if you really want someone to get a quote through the app, which they can. But again, if they're already a customer, they know they can get a quote at any time via email, call, text, however they want to get in touch with you.
That's fantastic. We have a lot of independent agents that listen to our podcast. We have a lot of captive agents that listen to our podcast. And I'm going to speak to the audience for just a second. So what most of you already have found out is that in July of 2020, Nationwide Insurance has decided that they are going to let all of their captive agency force go independent. And at that time, as it stands today, unless something changes, which it could, but right now, it looks like at that same time, we as Nationwide captive agents are going to have to invest into an agency management system. And this software, this app that we're talking about today is actually something that I've been investigating for about 6 months, because I realized that once I have a new agency management system that my agency is going to be utilizing, at that time I won't have access to the same mobile app that Nationwide provides its captive clients. And so that's something that, from a captive agency standpoint, if you're a State Farm agent or a Nationwide agent or a Farmers agent, whatever you are, you're used to that already being provided to you and for your clients in terms of a mobile application that they can download onto their phone. But when all of these Nationwide agents in July of 2020 turn independent and they have to rely on a new agency management system, they're not going to have that. They're not going to have that same mobile application. Yeah. So it's important for all of those guys, once they start looking into that, deep diving into that, that new agency management system, to also be looking at technology like yours as well and making the decision on what they're going to do in terms of a mobile app for their clients. So I am intensely interested in this app, and I know you guys will continue to improve, make it better, continue to work towards making it something that every independent agent out there makes the decision, hey, this is something we got to have.
Well, and I think, too, pushing your clients to the carrier website is step one for them taking them away from you.
Exactly.
Right on.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, there you go. That's a great point. So
we're in touch with a lot of the Nationwide guys. We have heard from a lot of them. We've signed up a lot of Nationwide agencies. So we understand the challenges all of them are facing and the technological challenges.
Right.
They've always had their own management system, or the company's management system. Now they won't. So, yeah, there's a lot for them to do. We're here to help if we can.
I was just going to say the number one thing that agents have is the relationship, and that's what you want to maintain and build, and make sure that you are offering them as much value add-on to that relationship. So it's not just about the billing, and it's not just about claims, but it's about all the things that you can help them with in between. And that's really why you're trying to offer them this container where you're simplifying what they can do and how they can get to you or get to their information.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. You got to make it easy for people to buy, and you got to make it easy for people that
do business with you.
Yeah, to just do business with you. And right. that what you guys have created is kind of something for independent agents to utilize to help it make existing customers. And we talked a little bit a minute ago about retention. I had an old senior VP of sales for Nationwide Insurance. He just retired about a year ago. He told me one time, he said, you got to sell 4. If you lose 2, you got to sell 4. And that in and of itself is why retention is so important. If you lose 2 policies, you got to sell 4 to make up for it. And anything that we can do as independent agents or captive agents to help make it easy for our clients to do business with us in general, especially on the front end in terms of sales. But then I'm not so sure that the retention side of it's just as important, if not more important, to make it easy for those people to do business with you once they come on and you deliver that promise that we all talk about delivering, of the customer service and the client experience that we're going to give you. So if I'm an independent agent, I got to have a mobile app for my people. I've got to. I know Bradley and I are both very progressive and very mobile oriented, because we know that the mobile smartphone is surgically attached to everyone's arm. Elon Musk came on the Rogan podcast. He said, "You do realize that we as human beings are now actually cyborgs."
Yeah, right.
And Joe Rogan goes, "What?" He goes, "We literally are cyborgs now, because we have so much knowledge in our right or left hand at any time that we can, we can so quickly pull things up and get data from."
Yeah, and the question that spurred that on was, do you think we're smarter than the previous generations? Well, yeah, we have unlimited knowledge in our pocket.
Yeah. Can anybody on this podcast tell me who the 27th president of the United States was right off the top of your head? Anybody? You know what the answer to that is, Matt?
Google it.
Who cares? Google it. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
But you know what? We're smarter, But we're only smarter because we rely on knowing exactly where we can go to get our information. And we're simplifying things. And that's why, so many companies push you immediately to their app because they know you're not going to remember everything. But if you could remember one thing, and that's where to go and how to get it.
It was President Taft,
really
by the way.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that.
I was going to say that.
Matt said I was just about to say that. I love it. Yeah, Kiki, you're exactly right. Yeah, you got to know where to go to get the information from. But I think independent agents, if they're not already using a mobile app for their members or their clients, they really need to take a hard look at you guys and try to figure out how to make that work. Because if I'm doing insurance business, I'm 46 years old. If I'm doing insurance business with somebody and I'm not in the insurance game, I would want a mobile app to be able to go to get my ID cards, and it's taking so much work off your service people too, right?
So I was just looking at Kiki, and I was just shaking my head saying, "Look, a mobile app is table stakes these days."
Exactly.
Right? Come on, we are 11 years into the release of the first iPhone. Can we all admit that insurance is probably the last vertical that gets serious about it?
Right.
And it's ridiculous that it's this far behind. And don't get me going on the technical challenges as to why. I will tell you, I'm about to write the new presentation that I'll be presenting at there's an IIANC, Big I in North Carolina Technology Conference in a few weeks. And the title of it right now, the working title is All My Agency Needs is APIs, parenthesis, what's an API? And it goes back to, look, there are some technological hurdles in this vertical, and it goes to legacy systems.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is 10 other podcasts you could do on this.
Right.
But the bottom line is it is getting easier. We are being contacted now by management systems regularly, and we will have 4 out of the top 5 covered very soon. And not just the established ones, but we're talking about one on the Salesforce platform. This is all good stuff, and it all goes to where the industry is moving. So they're finally waking up and recognizing we have got to open up our systems so that we provide for our agency clients the convenience that their clients are asking for.
Guys, I think that's a great place to end the podcast. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, you're exactly right. Now, I have one last question for y'all. When one of these huge conglomerate, multi-billion-dollar companies comes in and offers you $237 million for your mobile app, will you take me down to the Grand Caymans and we can go out on your boat one weekend?
Well, here's what I would say.
What'd Kiki say? Absolutely.
Kiki said absolutely.
Absolutely, we will.
I would say, but we got a couple of partners. They're the insurance, the podcast guys.
Right.
So we'll bring you into the deal. How about that?
That's fine. Great. I love it. No, but I just think that what you've got is something that independent agents really need to take a hard look at and try to figure out whether they really got to have something like this. So that's why we wanted to do this podcast with you guys, was to give independent agents out there that listen to this a resource to go to and look and be able to contact you guys and make a decision for their agency if they feel like this is something that they need to utilize and jump on. And it was not until recently when I really started talking about being an independent agent, which I'm kind of a hybrid independent right now anyway, but is when I really realized, because I've been captive for so long, that, we don't have to think about this kind of stuff. We already have a nationwide mobile app. 90% of our business is written through Nationwide, so we don't have to worry about that. But, these independents do have to. And I think you guys may have something that all the people listening to this podcast need to take a hard look at. I really appreciate y'all being on the show today.
Well, our pleasure. We enjoy it, and happy to answer anybody's questions. They can reach out to either Matt or myself. Email us, whatever, at Kiki@insurancegentapp.com or Matt@insurancegentapp.com.
Right.
And happy to talk with the nationwide people that are just trying to figure out what the horizon looks like and what they're up against. And understanding the prospecting side of what their website will do and what they need to have done there, and why they want to move people into an app to keep them from being retargeted on the website.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and close this thing out. Again, insurance agents from around the world. If you want to look, if you're an independent agent and you want to look for a great mobile app to utilize in your agency, go to insuranceagentapp.com. Remember what I always tell you. People want to buy the way that they want to buy, but once they have purchased from you and you've made all the promises to deliver that customer experience that they deserve and that they need and that they expect in today's environment of having a smartphone surgically attached to their arm, because we're all now cyborgs, they will expect to have a mobile app to be able to go download their insurance card on, okay? So as I always tell you guys, rewards come from action, not discussion. Get your ass out there today and go sell some insurance and make some money for you and your family. Write good business for the agencies that you represent and write good business for the companies that you represent. Mr. Bradley Flowers, I love you.
Love you too, buddy. Thanks, guys.
Guys, you are listening.
Thank you.
You are listening to the Insurance Guys podcast. We look forward to seeing you real soon. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Insurance Guys podcast. If you need to know more about me or you need to get in touch with Scott, you can always reach me at theinsuranceguyonline.com or email me at iprotectins@gmail.com. And if you need to get in touch with Mr. Bradley Flowers, go to bradleyflowersinsurance.com or email him at bradley@saralandinsurance.com. Guys, we love you. Thank you so much for listening. We look forward to being with you again real soon on the next episode of The Insurance Guys. Take care.